Well, this game came very much from us. You know, we're big fans of the first film, and I think it was just this amazing opportunity. You know, I think I'd always thought that there was an amazing experience to be had. You know, if you could kind of capture what it would be like to go back to the Nostromo to confront that original alien, that would be an amazing, unique experience. You know, one that I didn't think had been available before. I think, you know, games based in the franchise had really focused on the James Cameron experience of Marines and aliens and pulse rifles, and that's totally cool, but it felt like there was an opportunity to do something completely different within the franchise. And so I guess it was just this kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I knew Sega had the rights to make video games based on the license, and so we had a great idea, and so we pitched the game to Sega and to 20th Century Fox, and every time we talked about the game and showed people what we were doing, everyone got very excited, and so yeah, we haven't looked back. I mean, I think I understand from the outside, you know, Creative Assembly is famous for Total War and our amazing Total War games, and but I've been working at Creative Assembly for a long time, and I know that we're capable of doing things, you know, wider things than possibly people expect. You know, when I started, we used to make sports games, and when we wanted to make Total War, people would say to us, "Why do you want to make strategy games? You make sports games." So I kind of get it that we get seen as the strategy game guys, and that's totally cool. But from the inside, it feels completely natural that we're able to turn our hand to this. Well, I think we're big fans of survival horror, you know, games full stop, and I think what's really cool about that genre is it's really evolving all the time, and you know, it's kind of moved away from being this kind of very strict, you know, kind of walking around third person with a bit of wood and a nail in it, and I think it's expanded and evolved and it's changed, and you can find really cool, really compelling survival horror experiences in a really wide variety of places, not even, you know, outside of this kind of rigid definition of survival horror, you know, whether it's, you know, Skyrim or Fallout 3, you know, there's some really cool survival horror style moments, or, you know, where it's Limbo, which is, you know, 2D side-scrolling game, you know, there's some really amazing moments there. Or, you know, I've said it before, but I think Minecraft is an amazing kind of survival horror experience. You know, it's about, you know, being underpowered, about resource management, about, you know, coming across things that are much more powerful than you. And actually that, you know, for me, that first night, when the sun went down, you know, is you know, terrifying. When something's banging on your door and, you know, you're in the dark, that's really scary. You know, but then, you know, I think we were, you know, in terms of influences, I think, you know, Sega's own Condemned, you know, fantastic game, really atmospheric game. Or something like, you know, Thief, Deadly Shadows, where just the sound of a guard walking around, the footsteps, you know, can get your heart racing, and you feel very underpowered, and you know, I think that's, you know, so yeah, I think you know, we're inspired by you know, by everything really.
I think there's something here.
So for me, Alien Isolation is about the whole of the journey. You know, we have this incredible alien that is the, you know, the star of our show, that's emergent and dynamic and reactive, and it's reacting to the world around it, the player's actions, and, you know, every time you play it's different, and that's amazing. But at the same time, you know, it's about the journey through the world. You know, the space station Sevastopol is broken, and, you know, and just navigating your way around is a puzzle in itself. So there's that to really engage the player. You know, there's some other things that confront the player. So there's some other human survivors, and they're in the same situation as you. They're desperate to survive. You know, and that makes them extremely unpredictable. You know, sometimes they're positive to the player, and sometimes they're you know, less so. And likewise, the Seegson synthetics. You know, these kind of very rudimentary androids. They can be a real benefit to the player, but again can be incredibly dangerous and sort of almost superhuman in strength. And then you have this kind of really interesting mix of these kind of emergent entities that can mix and be unpredictable. And at the same time, you know, I guess the heart of the game is this kind of game of cat and mouse. You know, it's about survival. It's not about killing. But we do give you, you know, different means to approach any encounter. So you can, you know, you can evade. You can try and be unseen. You can distract. You can use these devices in the world to try and modify the world around you and steer those entities into different directions to help you survive. Or you can actually try and confront the situation head on. You know, for example, use a Molotov cocktail or a revolver. That's a massively high-risk strategy. It is possible, but the thing for us is to put these choices into the players' hands and let them decide as to how they want to survive. I think for us, Alien Isolation is heavily inspired by that first film. I mean, that's, you know, that's absolutely where we're coming from. And I think that, you know, we wanted to tell a story that took place after the Nostromo goes missing, so 15 years after Nostromo goes missing. You know, they believe someone's found the black box flight recorder, and Whaley and Tani go and send a small team to simply go and recover it, and Amanda goes with them, you know, as she's been searching for answers to her mother's disappearance her whole life. And so we really wanted to have something that had an emotional connection with that first story. As to the question of canon, you know, I think that's one for fans to decide. You know, we're making a game that's heavily inspired by the first film, and you know, I think the reaction to it so far has been massively positive. So, you know, we have these emergent, organic experiences with these entities that are running under their own AI. That the world itself has been crafted, has been built by the super talented team back at the studio. You know, so we do have some control over the experience. You know, moment to moment, what occurs is down to the player. But we've created the world, you know, to be a really effective play space. And so, yeah, what occurs is very much down to the player's actions. Well, I think it's kind of interesting for us because we've been working on this game for, I guess, over 4 years now. So, I guess prior to this kind of renaissance of survival horror games, and so I think from the outset we were really clear on what we were trying to achieve. I think it's just kind of coincidence that there's a lot of other people have been inspired to make survival horror style experiences, you know, in a variety of directions, and so I think it's just really super healthy. Like I said, you know, I think this keeps pushing the genre forward and just games in general. You know, I think it's really super healthy, and I think that's one of the sort of magical things about our art form or our medium, is that it's constantly evolving and changing, and you can have some really amazing experiences.